For personalised, private, no waiting, in-home care. rightathome.com.au. This is Without Bias on SEN.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Without Bias right here on 1116 SEN, your home of sport for Bowls Australia and Right at Home, the Right Care Right at Home, Australia's premier in-home care provider. For personalised, private, no waiting in-home care, visit rightathome.com.au. Val Febbo here with you, and I'm looking forward to tonight's show because we've got a bit of a wrap of the School Sport Australia National Championships, or the School Sport Australia Games in 2025. We're up here at Club Pine Rivers, and Troy Corba is going to join me a little later on to chat about that. But before we do, we had the National Development Series last week, and that was at Club Helensvale with Australia's Future on show, putting together a nice little week under World Bowls tournament conditions. One man who performed in exemplary fashion and was one of the best players at the tournament, and amongst the Team Blue, the winning team of the tournament, was Tyson Cromie from Victoria. Tyson, thank you for joining me on the show. Great to have your company, and well done on a massive National Development Series.
Hello, Val. Thanks for inviting me on, mate. I appreciate that. Keen to have a chat about last week. It was a fantastic week for us.
Yeah, it certainly was. And Team Blue, that was the team that got the job done. How rewarding was last week at Helensvale?
Oh, it's so rewarding, mate. Just a fantastic experience to be a part of that event. Two, I really like the idea of the paras and the sort of mingling amongst each other. I think I got a real kick out of that. Played with some players that you probably don't get a lot of opportunity to play with. So to win last week was a fantastic experience.
Yeah, it certainly was brilliant to watch, and I think the way that the tournament has evolved over 3 years is quite incredible. First played in 2023 and now moving on to now. So it's Team Yellow, Team Red and Team Blue, and you've played in all three events. And how much, if you pardon the wordplay, how much have you developed personally in these last 3 years? Because I think the growth of the event has been exponential, but then looking at your growth, I think you've been absolutely brilliant in going from strength to strength.
Yeah, no, I played in the first event and then unfortunately actually had to pull out of last year's event.
That is right, yes, you are right.
Due to a couple of health issues. But no, for me personally, the first event obviously was a fantastic experience, but just seeing how the event itself has evolved over a couple of years of its short sort of time being an event, It was really good. Like that first event, they had discipline playoffs and everything like that. And then this one, it was all team orientated, which I really enjoyed. Every bowl you played was playing it for your team. But I know that event has helped me develop a little bit, and probably being able to showcase that development over the past few years has been a fantastic opportunity.
And what was the biggest takeaway that you had this year? Obviously, yeah, sorry, I completely forgot that, yeah, you didn't play it last year. But so from year 1 to year 3, what was your biggest takeaway from the event for you personally, and what you can translate into your everyday game?
I just think with it being so much like the way the world events are played nowadays, just really focusing in on the little differences that we have, like playing 23 metres instead of 21 metres, just little things like that, and just being in that team environment and everything you do is for your team. I think that was quite enjoyable and something that I probably noticed the most and took away from the event this year.
And looking at working with Lindsay Clark. Now, Linny I know very well. She's one of the best this sport has ever seen in this country and the world. How much did you enjoy having her as your coach, and how much did you learn from her?
Oh, it was fantastic. We sort of created a little bit of a group chat in our group when the teams first got announced, and sort of had a little bit of banter back and forth, which was sort of what Lindsay sort of said, that we're going to go and have fun. And generally, if you have fun, that you play well. And I think that was probably one of the things that she sort of drove into us from the start when we found out that she was our coach, and probably went a long way towards us winning, I actually think. Just enjoying it, and obviously she's got a lot of experience as well with everything that she's done within the game that she passed on to us throughout the event.
Is there anything after play that Lindsay did as a coach for the Team Blue bonding, or was it just all the coaches that were there? Did they all sort of take you aside and do things as a group, as a whole, I guess?
So with our travel arrangements, we were sort of finishing up the day's play and sort of having a quick debrief on the green, just going through each player and sort of discussing what we thought worked well, what didn't quite work well, that we could do better sort of moving forward. We sort of try to do that after each game, but sort of went into a little bit more depth at the end of the day. And then we had to travel back to where we were staying. So we're on the bus and pumping the tunes and just enjoying each other's company, which is good.
That's great. That's absolutely great. It's what you love to hear about the next generation, how you're all getting along, and I think it just bodes well for the future of the Jackaroos. And I want to ask you about your club as well, because you're out at Ocean Grove. There's plenty happening down there with a massive dome. I think we were talking before, and you said August 28 is when they're hoping to have it finished by. So that must be very exciting for everyone down there on the Bellarine Peninsula.
Yeah, as you said, hopefully August 28 should all be finished with an opening event not long after that. Touch wood, all goes to plan between now and then, and we can finish up on that date. But it is certainly very exciting for our club in particular. Something that they put a lot of hard work into over the last few years, but it's also exciting for our region. And endless opportunities moving forward.
There certainly are. And another thing I want to bring up is the BPL. Of course, the Geelong Jets, which represented by Ocean Grove, or Ocean Grove owns the franchise. You've been to the last couple. How have you enjoyed seeing your own club out there strutting its stuff in one of Bowls Australia's premier events? Yeah,
it's fantastic for us. Probably started off as a bit of a pipe dream in hindsight, but now that it's a reality, it's certainly very exciting for our club, and that was probably evident in Moama, where we had a lot of our members from Ocean Grove up there supporting the Jets, and they had a pretty good event, which also was quite nice, just falling short to the Hawks in the final, but it's been fantastic. It creates a lot of excitement for our club, and we've got a pathway now within our club that, we can sort of aim to strive towards to get to that BPL for a lot of our younger up-and-coming players.
And Tyson, you were named as the Geelong Jets sort of inaugural development player, were you not? So that's quite exciting. And are you hoping to sort of push Disco or Paul Foster out the way and get out there soon?
Nah, Disco and Paul can have their spot while they're going as good as what they are. I'm quite happy to sit back and watch the show. But, it would be nice to get an opportunity one day. Certainly, it seems like such a fun atmosphere and environment to be part of the BPL. So if I do get the opportunity at some point, I'm sure I'll be ready to take with both ends. But for now, just happy to sit back and watch them two strut their stuff there. Two of the world's best, and it's pretty fun to watch.
Certainly is. They were boisterous, they were loud, they were brilliant in Moama, and looking forward to seeing it all happen again on October 27 in 2025. A new October BPL, which is weird considering we've always been up here at Pine Rivers in November. But Tyson, thank you so much for joining me. One of the best players at the National Development Series last week in the winning outfit, Team Blue. Mate, you're a star in the making, and looking forward to seeing how it all develops for you over the next couple of years.
Thanks for having me, Val. I appreciate the chance to have a chat and go through what the NDS was like. Also, what's happening here at Ocean Grove and the Geelong Jets. So thanks for having me on board, mate. Cheers.
Tyson Cromie joining me on Without Bias, right at home, emerging Jackaroo. Looking forward to seeing how his career develops over the next few years, that's for sure. And Troy Corba, he's going to join me next to chat about the School Sport Australia Games. And just before we get to our break on Without Bias, I want to talk about the Bowls for Brisbane campaign. That is going to be absolutely huge. Bowls for Brisbane 2032 joint campaign to secure Olympic and Paralympic inclusion. And that will include a showpiece match between Australia and the rest of the world, the Jackaroos versus the rest of the world, on October 29 during BPL 22 right here at Club Pine Rivers. So make sure that you're watching that. It'll be in prime time on broadcast. We cannot wait for this. So make sure you're watching. But until then, you'll have to listen to all the updates that come as to who is going to be playing, which players will take part. It's going to be very exciting. But the push for Brisbane is now on. So that is one to look forward to. But we'll catch you very shortly on Without Bias. Troy Corba about to join me.
For personalised, private, no waiting, in-home care. rightathome.com.au. This is Without Bias on SEN.
You're listening to Without Bias here on 1116 SEN for Bowls Australia and Right at Home, the right care, right at home, Australia's premier in-home care provider. Visit rightathome.com.au. Val Febbo here with you, and a big thank you to Tyson Cromie for joining me in the previous segment to talk about the wonderful National Development Series. And well, I'm lucky enough to be at Club Pine Rivers for the conclusion of the National Schools Championships, or it's called the School Sport Australia Games now, under a new moniker, different to what it was last year. But we've gone from City of Geelong to Club Pine Rivers in 2025, and it was a genuinely sensational event. And someone that is joining me, who you are no strangers to on Without Bias, is Troy Corba, Club Support Manager for Southern Queensland here at Bowls Australia. Troy, welcome.
Thank you, Val. Great to be with you.
You did so well the last time you were on during the AO that we just had to get you back. So great to have your company. It was a genuinely brilliant Australian Schools Championships, or the School Sport Australia Games. I'm so used to calling it one way, and still after the event, it's hard to get right. But it was awesome, wasn't it? We were blessed to see some quality bowls from some of the best junior prospects in the country.
Oh, it was terrific, Val. And I believe it's the third edition, second time as a truly national event with 5 states involved. And the competition just seems to get better and better each year. What was really pleasing is we had a lot of players here for their first time as well. So we've had good turnover of players in terms of giving people exposure at playing at one of these national style tournaments, and to see the standard of bowls that we did was fantastic.
Yeah, and format's a little bit different to try and not, I guess, keep their attention span going, but also just to try and churn through things a little bit quickly. So 4's only 12 ends, matches only going an hour and a half. So things are a little bit different here at this competition, but it was genuinely awesome. And I think the stories that you see about bowlers that have only been bowling for 6 months, like we saw at the City of Geelong last year and this year at Pine Rivers, it's just awesome to see different bowlers that aren't part of those state setups as of yet, that might be, just on the cusp of getting in there. And now they're just finding their way into the system and finding their way into the sport and maybe manufacturing a career that could be very prosperous for them.
Yeah, it's two-way benefit, isn't there? For the states, it's a chance to look at those up-and-coming juniors, and with the change in format, it gives them a chance to see them playing different formats, and playing in different positions, playing with different people in different game situations. So it's really great for the state selectors and people involved to have a look at those players and see how they respond, and obviously for the players themselves. And as you mentioned, so many new players coming through. Hopefully this type of event where they become part of that bowls community and get that sense of how big it is, gets their buy-in and gets them hooked and addicted to stay in the game for a long time moving forward.
And I think the exuberance of the kids, I think that rubs off on everybody, because you just see how happy they all are to be together and how much they enjoy it. And I remember last year, how, because it was so windy at City of Geelong, our live streaming kit got thrown completely onto the green, off the table. Things went rolling and tumbling, and all of the information that we had on, player bios and things like that went over the fence. And some of the kids just ran and grabbed them for us, and I think that just shows how excited they are to be here, and that translated into 2025 as well. You could just see throughout the couple of days that they were just enjoying each other's company. Yes, it was about the competition. Yes, it was about how you deal with these high-pressure situations. But why is it you get into sport to begin with? Have fun. And that's what they did.
Couldn't agree more. And I was very impressed with the etiquette and the way they interacted with each other. You know, they'd applaud a good bowl if there was a good bowl from the opposition. There was a really good camaraderie. And I think it's something that, you know, some people might say is old-fashioned about our sport, the etiquette of lawn bowls, but I think there's a lot of it that I think makes our game fantastic and different to other sports, and it's something we should really hold on to and preserve. So it's really pleasing to see the next generation carrying that on.
But it's about all sports, I think, and the etiquette that needs to be ingrained. I think you see a lot of people coming through that are brash and don't really follow those rules, and sometimes they don't last. So I think it's good that, you know, the etiquette is being taught at a young age, because that is part of the fabric of the sport, and it's what they all adhered to over the couple of days. But one thing I want to ask you, Troy, is something that you as a club support manager and the whole CSM team as a whole are working towards, is getting juniors into the sport, which is obviously somewhat of a barrier at times, because obviously we're not one of the mainstream sports in Australia, but it's part of the fabric of the Australian community, which is great. So how do you as a club support manager try and get juniors in, or how do you encourage clubs? How do you help them? What are they doing?
Yeah, I think the big thing, and I alluded to it earlier, is giving these kids a sense that they're part of a bowls community that is young people. So providing them opportunities where they can come together with kids from different clubs, different states, whatever it might be, I think is really important. But how do you start that? That's the thing. So I'm working with a number of districts in my area who are wanting to get juniors going. So it's about, over time, trying to create a pathway for them. So it starts at club level, trying to get some juniors in at club level, and then making sure that you're providing opportunities then for those juniors at those clubs within their district to be able to have, you know, a regular, maybe once every 3 months, district event or catch-up or training session where all of those kids from the district come together, and encouraging clubs to play against each other in junior-specific pennant or whatever it might be. So it's a gradual process, and as I said to clubs, it's hard work. If you want to do it, you've got to put the time and effort into it, because it doesn't come easy. But what I can tell you is that once you start to get 4 or 5 juniors at a club and they're coming down regularly, they will form their own little posse at the club.
Yep.
They have their own sense of identity within the larger club, and that's when it becomes easier and you can start getting other juniors involved. So a couple of good things I know clubs do. School holiday programs are a very effective way to give kids some exposure to the game and have fun. Trying to get in with schools in terms of their curriculum, often it can be challenging doing it through there, because you've got restrictions around when schools can come down and visit and things like that. But that can be an effective way of getting them down. Family come and try days are a big way.
Huge.
Get the whole family down. And I think this is a thing I think a lot of clubs fail to realise, is that if you attract a junior bowler to your club, it's not just the junior bowler you're getting. You're getting mum, you're getting dad, you're getting nan and pop who come along and watch the games, you get brothers and sisters involved. So, a really good example at my club at Paradise Point, we have quite a strong junior program. We can have anywhere between sort of 12 to 20 kids at our regular training sessions. We've had, in the last 12 months, we've had 3 new parents who've never played the game before have now taken it up themselves as well. So there's a real flow on benefits for clubs to get juniors involved. So strongly encourage anyone out there to engage with your club support manager in your region. Pop onto the BA website. All the club support managers are listed there. Find the one for your area and get in contact, and we're here to support you and help you get that up off the ground. Or if you've already got an existing junior program, how you can enhance it, maybe you want to work out some development pathways within your club. How are you going to keep kids engaged and staying in the sport? So are you catering for the ones that are having a real crack and want to become world-class bowlers? Are you also accommodating and looking after the ones that are just there to have fun with their friends and just enjoy playing? So they're all things that we can help you with and we'd love to help you with.
Exactly. So bowls.com.au and go to the Club Support Managers tab. You can find Troy there, and even if you're not in his region, just ring him anyway. He loves to chat.
Oh, absolutely.
No, don't. Be serious about it, because you do actually need to get the juniors in, because that's where the future of the sport lies, and it's what we've seen over the last couple of days. One other thing I just want to touch on before we go, Troy, 180th year celebrations in Tasmania this week. It was on Monday at Sandy Bay in Tasmania with a function at Government House. Unreal. 180 years. What were you doing 180 years ago, Troy?
Certainly not even considered.
No.
My ancestors were in the Netherlands or Spain or somewhere at that time. But I, being a proud former Tasmanian, or I've been in Queensland for 15 years now, but I still consider myself at least half Tasmanian. Very proud to see the Sandy Bay Bowls and Community Club down there host the celebrations, and I think it was a good education piece for people around Australia. A lot of people wouldn't have realised the history around bowls and where it started and how long ago. So terrific event for our sport, terrific for bowls in Tasmania. Well done to all involved in that, and I think there was a big Government House reception and function as well. So really great effort, and obviously to launch our new action plan as well from BA. So that's exciting times ahead as well. Yep.
The new strategic plan, that is, of course, on Bowls Australia's YouTube and social media channels as well. So go and watch that. It's absolutely brilliant, and the work that went into that was unparalleled. So an amazing job to everybody who had something to do with that, because it looks and sounds and feels absolutely brilliant. It shows what bowls is. Bowls, and I think the man of the people, Paul Holschke, put it perfectly. It's a sport for life. And it is. It's exactly what it is. You can play it from when you're born, or maybe not that young. Of course, rookie rollers, they're foam, so you can play it from a very young age, pre-1, although you don't really know what you're doing, up until your 90s or possibly beyond that. So it is a sport for life, and it's absolutely brilliant, the work that went into that in Tasmania and then beyond as well. So fantastic job to that team, and looking forward to seeing how it all develops over the future. But Troy, thank you very much for joining me on Without Bias. Been great to have you on.
Absolute pleasure, Val.
And that is all we've got time for this evening on 11:16 SEN. Thank you so much for joining us once again. A big thank you to Troy beside me, and also Tyson Cromie earlier on in the show. And of course, you can stay in touch with everything to do with bowls at bowls.com.au and our social media channels. That's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, or formerly known as Twitter. We're on everywhere. And of course, catch up on the Bowl Show Tuesday nights on Fox Sports Australia, and then on KO and BA's YouTube, as well as The Right Line. You can subscribe to that wherever you get your podcasts from. But from me, Val Febbo, it's good night. This has been Without Bias for Bowls Australia and Right at Home, the right care. Right at Home, Australia's premier in-home care provider. Visit rightathome.com.au.